So we're going to finish it off today. We're going to do 41 through 54. 41 says part of an exponential function is graphed on the grid, which inequality represents the domain. All right, so if I want domain, then I'm going to go over here and find the leftmost point. That's this right here, and that has a value of -2. I'm going to try to find the rightmost point, but there's not a right point. This arrow means it keeps going. So I need a domain of x's. Remember, domain is x's, so get rid of the y's. That says we start at -2 and we go forever. Well, that's A right there because it says greater than -2. So we start at -2, go on forever. All right, it says what is the solution to this problem? I'm going to put a little 1 right here, so there should be a number. We're going to distribute that -1. That gives me -6m plus, minus, because of the -1, 8 equals, and then we're going to distribute the 4. So it's going to be 68 minus 4m. I have two m's. I'm going to get rid of the smaller one, which is a -6, by adding to both sides. That gives me -8 is equal to 68 plus 2m. We're going to subtract 68. That gives me -76 is equal to 2m. And we're going to divide by 2. And that gives me m is equal to -48. Now, if I want to check my answer, what I can do is store -48. So I can do -48, store it in x. Put in this left side over here, which was -6x plus 8. And then do 4 times 17 minus x. And you see, I don't get the same numbers. And this is why it's important to check. So somewhere, something went wrong. So what went wrong? Well, I can either go back and check my work. So I did -1, that's -6, that's -8, and I added 6. We could check I have 4 times 17. Does 4 times 17 really make 68? 4 times 17. Yeah, that makes 68. So sometimes you can go back and find simple stuff. I had -8 minus 68. -8 minus 68. All right, that makes -76. -76, and divide that by 2. And oh man, I messed up. All right, I got 48. No, it's supposed to be, forget that. It's supposed to be -38. All right, let's check that then. I'm going to do -38, store that in x. All right, and then I'm going to do -6x plus 8. And check it. And then we're going to do 4 and then 17 minus x. Check that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so -38 is my answer because it works. But you can check your answers. Anytime we're getting an answer, you can plug them back in. And that's really important to do because you may make a little error, whatever. Honestly, if I didn't write this so big, I don't go back and try to find an error. It's usually too much stuff. I just start working the problem over again and try to be a little more careful. And sometimes that helps, but you can do it either way. Okay, which function is equivalent? Again, equivalent, I could store it in x, type this in and type these in. It's going to be faster for me to actually work it out. So we're going to do 3 times x is 3x, 3 times, C, darn it. I got to go in here, but there's a squared, so that's not going to work. You know what? Let's actually do it with the storing in the calculator. So I'm going to take 3 and store it in x. That's my go-to number. And I'm going to do 3 parentheses x plus 2 squared plus 7. All right, that gives me an answer of 82. We're going to go through and we're going to check all these, and we're going to try to find an answer of 82. So 3x squared plus 12x plus 33 makes 96. All right, let's try that again. Well, let's change that 33 to a 19. Oh, that did not work. Copy 19. There we go. Hey, 82. All right, there's my answer. Okay, we don't need this. It says which table shows y as a function of x? Okay, so to be a function, you cannot have a repeat x with different y's. So I got a repeat x and they have different y's. So that is not a function. This one does not have any repeat x's. It is automatically a function. Repeat x's, different y's. Repeat x's, different y's. So H is my answer. What is the equation in slope intercept form? It passes through a point 50 and it's parallel. Okay, if it's parallel, it has to have the same slope. So it has to be 1.2. So B is out, D is out. And if it's going to go through the point 50, I should be able to plug a 5 in for x and get a 0. Well, 1.2 times 5 is 6. 6 minus 6 makes 0, which is what it got. That makes 6. 6 plus 5 makes 11. That doesn't work. So my answer is A. And you could, of course, done that in a calculator. All right, so which statements are true? The x-intercept is located at -3, 0. Sure looks like it. The coordinates of the y-intercept are 0 and 9. Yeah, it looks like it. The axis of symmetry is -3. That's the middle point. Sure looks like it. So I'm going to say all of them, 1, 2, and 3. A college student has 2 different jobs. Her combined work schedules consist no more than 48 hours in a week. What graph best represents the possible combinations of X she works at her first job, and Y, the number of hours she worked at her second job in 1 week? All right, so it says we want no more than 48 hours. So this one goes on forever, so that's pretty bad. This one's 48, that's 42 and 6, that's 48. This is above and this is above, and we didn't want above, so those are all bad. So A. All right, again, equivalent, store number in X. I'm going to check again, 3 store X. I'm going to go to my standby number 3. We're going to type in 9x squared minus 24x plus 16 makes 25. All right, and we're going to go through and I'm going to multiply answers together and see if I can get 25. Before I do that, though, I'm going to eliminate this one and this one because they're all pluses and there's no way we could have that minus sign right there. So I'm not even going to try them. All right, we'll do 9x minus 4. And we're going to do x minus 4 is -23. So that does not sound right. And then we've got 3x minus 4 squared, 25. That's the number we were looking for, so it's J. All right, it says which graph best represents this system of equations and its solution? Well, the solution is where they cross at. So what I want to do is actually find the point where they cross. So this one would be 2, 0. This one would be 0, -2. Scroll down a little bit. This one would be -2, 0. And this one would be 0, 2. So what I can do is take this first number's X and Y and plug them in and see if it works. So if I put a 2 right here, 8 times 2 is 16 minus, that would be 0. So that would be a positive 16. Well, that doesn't work. I don't know why I can't hit that. All right, 0 would go in for the X, so that would be 0. -2 times -4 is positive 8, so that doesn't make -16, so that's out. -2 times 8 would be -16, plus 0 would be -16, so that works. -2 times 3 would be -6, plus 0 gives me -6, so that works. If I tried 0 and 2, 0 would go right there. -4 times 2 is -8, and that does not work. You could do the numbers in the calculator. Just plug in the 2 and the 0 there and see if you get -16. What are the domain and range? Okay, so domain, I want to see a graph for domain and range. This is a quadratic, I know, because it's got the x squared in it. And I do know that the domain of any quadratic is just part of it, is all real numbers. So it can't be that one, it can't be that one. All right, so we're going to put in negative alpha y equals to get our fraction. We're going to put in 1/4 x minus 17 plus, there we go, 61. And I'm going to hit graph, and I'm probably not going to see anything. Oh, we can see a little bit. All right, I need to zoom out. So I'm going to do zoom and number 3 and then press enter, and that zooms out. And I'm looking for the top of this graph. I'll press enter again, zoom out again. There's the top. So where is the top at? If I go here, we can see the top's about 61. So that means our options are less than 17. Well, no, less than 17 is down here. Less than 61, yes. My graph goes all the way to 61. Now, something very important. I've messed this graph all up. We zoomed way out. Anytime I do this, when I get done, I do zoom and number 6. See how it says standard? Zoom and number 6, and that goes back to the normal graph. All right, a customer. So see these answer choices? I know this is going to be right in the equation. So I see 4s with y's and 3s with x's and 8s. We need to figure out what goes where. It says, a customer in a store paid $64 for 3 large candles and 4 small candles. At the same store, the customer paid 4 more than the first customer for 1 large candle and 8 small candles. All right, so more, he paid 64. If he paid 4 more, that's going to be 68. So I can get rid of B because it has a 60. I can get rid of D because it has a 60. Which system of equations? Okay. So he bought 4 big, 3 small. He bought 8 big, 1 small. Seems reasonable. 3 big, 4 small. 1 big, 8 small. He paid a total of 64. He paid a total of 68. So that is my answer. All right, linear parent function is graphed. Which graph best represents h of x? So 2 things happened on h of x here. We can see that there's a negative, so that's going to flip it. So it was going this way, now it's going to go that way. And we're going to move it up 3 because it's a plus 3. So not flipped, flipped but down 3. Not flipped, flipped and moved up to 3. So my answer is G. Which expression is equivalent? Now, on the equivalent ones, you can work this out or you can just type it in a calculator. So I'm going to do 4 square root 147. All right, that gives me this horrible 48.4, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going to type in the answer choices. So 196 square root of 3. Definitely not the same. 12 square root of 7. Definitely not the same. 3 square root of 7. Definitely not the same. 28 square root of 3. There we go. 48 and blah, blah, blah. D is my correct answer. The total distance in centimeters a toy robot moves varies directly with the time in seconds. A toy robot moves a total distance of 264 centimeters in every 11 seconds. So this is centimeters, seconds. All right, it says, what is the time in seconds when it when the total distance is 408 centimeters, and we want to know x seconds. Notice that they line up, centimeters, centimeters, seconds, seconds. So we're going to cross multiply. I do 264 times x, and that gives me 264x equals, we do 11 times 408, and that gives me 4488. Then we're going to divide by 264. So we'll divide by 264. That gives me an answer of 17 seconds, and that's G. All right, finished.